We did yesterday water. We went through the basics of fire triangle. Then we have started with the medium, which will be used for extinguishing fire. We went through what are the requirements, structural requirement, etc. Now this is revision. So we are not going to go the way we did it first time. How we are going to go it little faster, main sticking to the points, and in case you have got a doubt, raise it in a chat because my chat window is open. Even I think you can see it because I am sharing screen. Now, going back to that diagram, okay, this diagram, what we do, okay. We have got a diagram, fuel, heat, chemical reaction, the chain reaction, and oxygen. Starvation means you remove fuel. Smothering means reducing oxygen so that you drop oxygen below the sustainable level. Then cooling is removing heat, and the interference is where like dry powders and all you break the chemical chain reaction. So these are the four parts what we have seen here. Now we saw yesterday how the water is used for cooling, that is removing heat. Now we look at CO2. CO2 smothers the fire, means it displaces air to reduce oxygen percentage so that oxygen percentage drops below sustainable levels and fire goes out. What are the advantages? It is inert, electrically non-conductive. Fine. Relatively cheap because CO2 technology is quite old and it's easier to compress enough comparing to other gases. Then readily available because it is a common technology across the world, so it is available. Of course, readily available doesn't have that sort of a significance for fighting fire because what you have got is a supply given to you on a ship. Resupply can be the where one can say that it's readily available, but while fighting fire, it is not your really concern. You know what you have got and you have to use that much only. You cannot be replenishing it during firefighting. It doesn't harm cargo because like we have seen, if we use water, it will soak up other cargoes and cause the damages to the cargoes. In this case, what happens is it is going to fight the fire in the sense by reducing oxygen. Fire extinguishes. So there will be little contact damage and beyond that every cargo will be okay. Now, it does not form toxic or explosive gases. Now, this is something you understand very clearly. It does not form toxic explosive gases when in contact with most substances. Means it is an inert gas. So it doesn't react with anything. That is the meaning of this. Not to be mixed up. It is a toxic gas for us, human beings. But it's an inert gas. It is not going to react with something or explode with something to cause damage. It doesn't react with other substances. Now, additionally, when you store it for longer periods, it doesn't deteriorate with age. That is why we can keep it for long periods, without using it because it happens. Believe me, it happens on the ships. Ship gets the CO2. After 10 years, of course, it will be changed. But you will find the ship has gone to scrapyard without ever using it once. So this is what we say that, okay, long term, like 10 years, you can keep it. After 10 years, bottles go for hydrostatic testing. So automatically that gas will be released or refilled somewhere else and bottles will be tested and it will be brought back. It is established technology. That's what I said. It is available all over the world. Effective on deep-seated fires. Why? Because deep-seated fire, otherwise to reach there, you have got only thing is like water hose and the jet, water jet. Now, water jet can travel maybe 30 meters and try to get to the, but if there are obstructions in the middle, water jet may not reach to the seat of the fire. In this case, it is a gas. So, when we can't reach there also, the CO2 will form the blanket, reduce the oxygen, and it will extinguish the fire. Now, advantages are there. Now, everything has got advantage, disadvantage, good side, bad side, always there. Disadvantage, limited supply is available on board because we calculate it to the 40% of the biggest compartment and that much is the supply. That means if you get more than that fire, you are running short on CO2. It doesn't have cooling effect, even though you may feel that liquid into gas. There will be certain things happening, but that is not cooling effect. It doesn't call cooling, it changes the state. So there will be certain heat absorbed, agreed, but that is not because the absorption of heat is happening in a wrong place. It is not happening when you are applying CO2 to the fire. It is happening in some other stage. There is a danger of asphyxiation, that is choking up, because it's not friendly gas for us. Even though we exhale CO2, but excessive CO2 will kill us. There is a toxic poisoning there. It is not used under automatic control in manned spaces, wherever. Now what happens is, most of the places on ships are manned, except cargo hold. They are not manned. But you will notice because of technological problems, like we get false alarms and on, so we never leave anything on automatic. We like to take control and release it ourselves, following the procedure. It is in a big cylinder. Cylinders are about your height, and you have seen it there in lab. They are heavy because it is stored under pressure as a liquid. So it is heavy, but anyway, you don't carry them around. It is stored in one location. Now, some cargoes can absorb it and swell, possible, but not a normal case. It can be dangerous if you use on certain chemicals, possible, but again, if you are going to carry one of those chemicals, you will be forewarned. The cargo reacts with CO2 and you will know what to do. In that case, sometimes it has happened, you, for one voyage, for one hold, if you have got a cargo like that, you also put a specialist firefighting systems. Generally today you may not see it, because what happens, the specialization costs a lot of money. So everybody avoids that. Now this last point, the discharge may generate static electricity to cause a spark and ignition of any flammable vapors present. Now this is something that gets misinterpreted at times without, because the question will be, I am releasing it to extinguish fire. Fine, you are releasing it to extinguish fire, but you can't release it in explosive atmosphere. The fire must be present. If fire is not present and you release it, there can be issue because of static electricity. What happens is, when it goes under pressure, the CO2 gas, and gets released from the nozzle, on the tips of the nozzle, there will be ice crystals formed because of extreme cold. Those ice crystals will carry static electricity and may produce the spark by static discharge. That is the reason. You don't release it in explosive atmosphere. You need a fire, then only you release it. Now, small amount of CO2 is available in portable fire extinguishers, but they are never in the accommodation. You may find the only one place, galley. Other than that, generally you are not going to see CO2 extinguishers in accommodation. Yes, you will find it in other places where they are not normally manned, because once you use it, person can't breathe. The next one, अभी तक no doubt, no? This is all revision, same points. You have to read it. You are okay. Foam. Now we use few different types of foams. Okay. Now just give me 1 second. What issue here? Okay, let's go on. Like I told you, no, I had to get that one also working. Another laptop. Okay, now on ship. When we say foam, it is just like a froth what we have on with soaps. Now the difference is what? When you form a blanket on anything, it is idea is for forming a liquid blanket. And foam is what that is the like soap bubbles but sticking to each other. Now, ordinary soap bubbles will split very quickly if you blow it. That's why you make balloons and all. Here, what you need a foam which should be sort of sticky type, which should not separate. Once it goes all over, it coats it means it coats it. Then you have to remove the coating, because otherwise, during fire, there can be issues that it will split and again it will allow the oxygen to come in contact. Idea of foam is we are cutting off oxygen. Now, it is a liquid blanket. Now, there are three types of foams. One used to be the low expansion up to 20 times, then medium expansion, and the third one is high expansion. Original foam used to be animal blood. Mixed with water, it will form froth. Over a period, they got replaced with a synthetic one, because animal blood and all, the natural properties had limitations. Synthetic foams have been created for firefighting. So obviously, all the problems have been considered and then they have been. It's a science itself, a branch of science. Now, low expansion foam, you will not see much of it except in fire extinguisher, and you will see in some engine room where low expansion foam is a firefighting system which goes and covers up in trays. There are trays provided under the all critical equipment. So when you release the low expansion foam, it goes there, mixes up, and it just coats it so that anything is there, it stays underneath. So the fire will not be there. But it doesn't go all over the engine room. But in case you see it, you're not likely to see it anyway. Then it is just for coating. Other one is medium expansion. Medium expansion foam you will find on tankers, on cargo areas, because in case of a bad situation, explosion or anything, what will happen is the tank will get ruptured. It will just get ruptured and open up. So the requirement of the medium expansion foam is it should be applicable with guns and it should coat full cargo area. That is very important. And up to 3 meters. And this is like, you will a whole thing coated as if there is a snow there. And underneath that. Now that is only on tankers. Then you have got high expansion, 200 to 1000 times. It is high expansion foam is more or less a soap solution with some plus minuses, and it just fills up the whole thing. Means you have to see it, then only you will get idea. Then there are two ways of delivering it. High expansion foam, either it uses the fresh air, it is produced somewhere else in a generator, and it is delivered via duct to the compartment. Another method is the compartment has got the generator, it uses the local air and produces the foam. So both systems are different. One needs to have ventilators open, otherwise the foam cannot come in. Other one, you can have ventilators closed and internal air will be used to produce the foam. So it depends on which type. Now, what is the basic advantage of the foam is just removing oxygen. There will be some oxygen in the foam itself, but it is a minor amount. And basically the bonding between the bubbles is very strong. So if one bursts, second one replaces it. So one way or the other, you cut off oxygen. Little bit cooling will happen because after all there is a liquid there. But it's not basically meant for cooling. It is meant for cutting off oxygen. Now, other one is foam concentrates, where you mix it up through the mixer. Now, depending on when we go through that part, then we will get into the equipment, how it produces. Otherwise, in the gun, there is Venturi effect. It sucks it from these drums and mixes up with water, and the foam is delivered. That is those handheld guns. That is where you use the portable one. Now, protein foams and synthetic foams, anyway, if you should be able to compare it. Protein is a natural one. Basically, like I told you, animal blood. Low cost, good, bad, all these things are fine. Good stability, heat resistance, can degrade through freezing, thawing, relatively low in spreading, slow. So, but they have been replaced more or less with fluoroprotein foams. Those are synthetic ones. They have been designed. Different types of foams are there, but they have been designed. More expensive, but they have got better stability, faster flow over the surface. There is a better resistance. See here, the better sealing qualities. Good water retention, because finally you mix with water to produce the foam. So you get the both advantages. Good water retention means there will be more cooling effect. It doesn't get affected by freezing because it was designed that it should not freeze under normal circumstances. You can, of course, antifreezes are there and all, but basically that is not what we are looking at. We are looking at it. Normally it will not freeze and you can apply it better. Non-toxic, because when you designed it only, you said it should not be toxic. Now there are different varieties here. Normally you should be able to explain synthetic foam and this, and then because when you look at it, most of the things are similar. Small differences, but you should know what foam is there. Okay, triple F is more commonly used. Now this part, alcohol resistant foam, you will find on generally product carriers and all. What happens is on product carriers, you may have these products It's not petroleum product carriers. I mean, there are different chemical tankers and all. So that is where you may get one of these foams alcohol resistant, because if there is a fire on alcohol and you are carrying alcohol, how will you fight it? So you have got alcohol resistant foam. But when you get the cargo, you will know what firefighting system you need. Means, you are not going to, when you get all the material data sheet and all, you check all these things. That, okay, this is one of the factors you work out when you actually load the cargo. Applications, small handheld one, that is you will find where in accommodation you will find, galley you may find, engine room you will find foam extinguishers all over, and you will have a bigger type of foam extinguishers, the ones which are mobile, not portable, with wheels. They will be on the boiler platform because that is a requirement. Those are like 45 liter capacity. If normal one is 9 liters, these are 45 liters or even higher. But they have got wheels and you push it and then you apply. Next is dry powders. Normally we say dry chemical. It may be potassium bicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate, then add-ons. It's like coffee mate, the milk powders, the coffee mate you get to put it in your coffee. So it has got milk powder. Then to make milk powder flow smoothly, you add something, then you add for this. For easier mixing, lumps shouldn't be there. Something like that it is done here. Mixture of couple of things to ensure that it will not form any stones there, it will not form any lumps, nothing. It should be smooth moving. It's like a talcum powder, is that smooth? It means, if you are using it, anyway dry powder, you may have difficulty in breathing. It's like dust, but that is the purpose of it anyway. Now, like dry powders, like when you see three-dimensional fires and all, it's all okay, because basically what you are using dry powder to interrupt the chain. So it goes in a different way and it starts breaking up chain somewhere or the other. But there is always an issue that after that there can be reignition till the time everything comes under control. BC powder is a type of powder which is used basically on liquid gaseous fires. Now you can use this on any fire practically, dry powder. Now this another Monex one is there. Now these are more complex ones because they explode and all. You see sometimes on YouTube and all, no? The new method to fight fire. Somebody brings a ball-like thing, throws in the fire, it explodes and fire stops. Yes, there are newer methods, but all are not applicable on ships. We have got certain limitations. You have got different types, but then based on the specialist use, like if you are on gas carrier, this is your primary firefighting system, the dry powder. So there you will have different way of looking at dry powder. Other ordinary ships, you are quite happy, okay, BC powder is why. BC is basically liquid fire and gaseous fire, because class B and class C. ABC powder here means, do we have gun like firefighting? Yes, we have. The dry powder can be delivered with guns. Means you use the inert gas and mix it up and dump it. You will need to give velocity. Deck, I'm not so sure, because what happens is there is nothing on deck. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen inside. Like you see, there are domes. The tanks are fully covered. There is no cargo you can see, nothing you can see. So some part will be on deck, and the worst part with the gas carriers is that fire, if you extinguish it, you have to ensure that the leak is also stopped. Because if the leak continues, then the whole atmosphere will become explosive. And one spark, everybody will be bye-bye. So that is the dangerous part on the gas carriers and all. You have to stop it, one way or the other. You have to seal that leak. But the delivery, even the terminals who deal with gas carriers have got this dry powder system, the whole firefighting system. Bolo, what do you want to ask? Types of tanks means, see, all the tanks are meant to carry pressurized cargoes, gas carriers. Now, most of them can be you have spherical tanks, you have got cylindrical stand, membrane tanks. There are many types, means I can't really tell you all of it offhand just like that, because I have not worked on gas carrier either. But they are generally inert metal, strong tanks, and the framing is outside the tank. Framing is not inside the tank. Inside is absolutely smooth, shining stainless steel. Outside, you have got frames. The tanks are made somewhere. They are brought on the ship, lower in the slots, and then secured. That is how the tanks are. And then there is an insulation. All of them are insulated. The reason being the temperatures of cargo are like minus 100 degrees, minus 120, 130 degrees Celsius. So they all are insulated. Then there are different types, means how much pressure they can manage, then how much temperature. Now what happens is they release the vapor to keep it cooled also. To cool down the cargo further, they release vapor. That vapor is also again re-liquefied. So when you release it, the temperature drops down, the latent heat will come in. That gas which was released is again liquefied and put it back. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff which goes on. Actually, it will be covered in your cargo work. Okay, this is best I can tell you. Okay, coming back to the ABC powder. ABC means it can fight, tackle fire of class A, class B, and class C. Yeah, don't worry. Next year you will have it, but people are not going to spare you. They are going to ensure that you know it well. Because a lot of our cadets go on gas carriers. And actually, once we restart, if you all have got interest, then I will tell one of the cadets who comes to us, for their vivas and all. I will tell him to talk to you all so that a lot of, the practical aspect will be taken care of. Okay, he may not be the best guide, but at least he is better because he has been on that ship. So he has to have some idea. Rather than me reading from internet and telling you the same thing. That is not fair. Because after all, I'm supposed to give you knowledge. I'm supposed to help you in interpreting what is information, but that doesn't make me expert on every topic. Okay. Metal fires, again, it is more complex subject. It just as a general reading, it is okay for you. Because when you start talking about specialist metals and all, you need a very specialist training and all to deal with metal fires. It's not common. Just have a general knowledge about it. You are not going to get question on metal fire because nobody carries metals like that. Wet chemical. Wet chemical specially came in for chief cook's problems. Cooking oils and fats. 340 degrees temperature, yes, it is less than cigarettes. So you can't use the normal because oil is simply too hot. So if you use ordinary foam, it will split. Why? Because the heat is so much. The oil is at 340 degrees Celsius. So what happens is wet chemical. They first knock off the flame, then they react with the burning fat, oil, whatever it is. First they will knock off the flame, then they will react and form a thick soapy foam that will coat up everything and the fire is gone. So this is very special for our cooks because that is where our food is there. So anyway, once you coat it with this, you can't eat that food. But there is also CO2 one for that purpose. Sometimes what happens is while cooking, you have got a chicken inside and then suddenly it catches fire because ज़रा ज़्यादा हो गया कुछ. Then in that case, if you use CO2, you are okay. Why? The CO2 will just extinguish that fire, but chicken will be eatable. Not for vegetarians, no? Halons, you generally don't see them anymore. And very, very rare case, in case you find, but that will be for a specialist cargo. Halon substitutes are there. Halons have been banned, but halon substitutes. That also, it's not common to see them. For a very special type of cargo, which reacts with CO2 and all, then you will have halon substitutes. And then you have a portable system which is fixed to the hold for the voyage, and after voyage they take it off. And nowadays you are not going to see it because what happens? Most of the things we carry in containers or specialized ships and all, so not so much. So this general knowledge you need of this, but not beyond that. Inert gases, the main one, inert gas, is on tankers. Crude oil washing is always supplemented with inert gas. Now what happens is the newer technologies are coming in. So we are not looking at only the exhaust gases. We are also looking at different gas. Like, now nitrogen is under better control. Now, if I can get a nitrogen, why not? That is inert gas anyway. And it has got more advantage. There is no oxygen at all in nitrogen. I can store it better. I can mix it up. So nitrogen generators are there on ships today. Similarly, you can have now argon. Everything is okay to talk. In the end, it is a cost factor. Cost factor, argon and all gases are rare gases. So if you need argon, you will spend more. But if at all is required, it will be for very, very specific cargo. It is not going to be the usual one. Inert gases, yes, you are going to see CO2 getting replaced maybe with nitrogen. Then what happens is sometimes the combination of gases are used. Again, same problems, that specific cargoes. This is the most important system that you are going to see everywhere. This will eventually replace most of the systems. Most of the systems will eventually get replaced with water mesh. The reason being, we have got technology by which we can really break down water droplet to the size microscopic. Now, for warehousing and all, because there was one vehicle which was imported and they had come marketing, they use like pulsed water mist to fight fire. That means it is safe even on electrical. You will not get electrocuted. And needs very little water and very efficient. Why? Because microscopic one. Why do you ask the wrong question now? Wait, let us discuss only the water mist first. Then we'll discuss yours. Okay? Okay. So the technologies are there, they improved, and there is a lot of advantage with water mist because it doesn't damage remaining cargo. It doesn't cause additional damages. Like while fighting fire, we also end up creating more damages. In the end, what is the use of something that is destroyed? It is like warfare. You can use nuclear weapons, fine, but in the end there is nothing to win because everything is destroyed. So something like that. So water mist is becoming more and more popular, and engineering wise there is a lot of effort there, and eventually this is going to win because it doesn't have toxicity. You can walk through in it. When you're fighting fire, you're cooling down very well. So everything works well with water mist system. So if I had to set a paper anytime, I'll always ask a question on hyper mist system, because there are quite few elements which you need to explain: microscopic size, surface areas, and so on. So that way you test knowledge better. Now, these factors are not for you, basically. If you know it, good. If you don't know it, also okay. Not at your level as a cadet. Later on, like second match level, you have idea about this, good. At chief officer level, you must know it. Extinguishers will become smaller in size probably in just matter of time. Okay, now it is 42. Okay, we'll just do little bit and then we'll stop. What can be cause of fire? Now what do you need for fire? Most common cause anywhere, not only on ship. Most common cause is smoking. That is to start fire. So many things we need, correct? That's correct. Heat, fuels, oxygen, chain reaction. But oxygen is always there. Chain reaction comes in picture after the fire starts. Fuel, there is nothing you can avoid. Like there will be fuel lying around here or there somewhere, because what is fuel? Fuel is something what we use in day-to-day life. Heat or a spark is something that is not normally present. So to start a fire, what do we need? Smoking is the most common. Why? Style. I said tuck karke kiya. When you do tuck like this to blow off the ash, sometimes you drop little bit of fire also down, right? Because the burning tobacco will also fall down. Next one is throw it off, and that you will witness it regularly wherever you live. The guy is smoking in the balcony. Instead of extinguishing cigarette, he just throws the last butt just down from his window or from his balcony. Now, if that lands in somebody else's house and catches fire, then what happens? That is the problem. Smoking is the most common, and on ships we are way more careful. We don't smoke on deck, and we are, generally you will notice that shippies, people who have worked at sea and who smoke, they have this habit of extinguishing cigarette. Even when they are smoking on road and drop the thing, they will crush it. They will crush it completely, and to ensure that it is extinguished completely, that butt. Now that is the typical habit of, but this is one of the common causes. Hot work, because you're actually doing some work which involves the naked flame or very high heat, sparks will be flying. So this is another one because accidentally I was doing hot work here, spark flew somewhere else and caught fire there. Possible. So hot work is where we take a lot of precautions for this reason. Galley activities, now normally galley doesn't have fuel lines. Those are very old types of galleys. But we have got electric hot plates. Now if electric hot plate is fully hot and you manage to drop little oil, okay, on it, whole thing will catch fire straight. Now normally what happens, these minute ones happen here and there. Normally good cooks won't have, but can happen, but there is nothing else to burn there. So it extinguishes itself. But it does happen. Like you go to any professional galleys, you will find the cooks are always having, if cooking also is a style, he's doing like this, and suddenly there is a flame and oh, you feel so happy. Now it has reached pubs also. You drink the flame. You have to grow up, then you go there. You have a time. Machinery spaces, generally electrical short circuit will be the reason, or hot work. Because again, nobody smokes in engine room everywhere. So that is not the thing. But fuel is there. A lot of fuel is available if it leaks. In a good engine room, you will never see oil drop also. Never. So there is not much. But what happens, sometimes there are like pipelines which are going to get heated up because they carry hot stuff inside, or the steam lines or something. So there is a lagging. Lagging is what? Some sort of insulator. And then there is a metal thing. Now if anything is leaking inside, then the lagging may absorb some fuel and lagging may catch fire. But normally you will find the electrical short circuit can be the reason, or a leaking thing, which is a disaster. Normally nothing should be leaking in engine room in any case. And other one is, laziness. Like engine room, when they work, there is oily hands and all. So you keep on cleaning it up and you throw that material in dustbin. These dustbins must be cleared up every 2 hours. Don't keep it there so nothing will catch fire. Even if the heat is there, whatever happens, but there is nothing to burn, you are okay. Very good. Okay, now 12 minutes to go. Okay, let me see if anything we have got more on this that you cannot. No, there is plenty of it. We have to explain more because there is a usual question. So, okay, some demand is there, we should stop. So, we stop, no problem. Any questions? Attendance, what is this attendance, Lelo, means? I will be asking you, number 1, yes sir, number 2, yes sir, like that. No, but it doesn't make any sense to me that way, because what happens is, moment you log in, you are registered. Okay. Now, if I ask you, say yes sir, yes sir. See, even if you are cheating me, your brother is sitting there instead of you. You have given him instruction, brother, sister, that high velocity stream, low velocity stream is basically what? Turbines. No, but in front of the screen, your video cameras are off. If everybody starts using video cameras, we may have an issue because of the bandwidth and other things come in. That is why it is not logical. If you ask me, when bandwidth is good, everything, I will like to see all of you on the screen, one pictures in live. Unless you have got a twin brother, you won't be able to cheat me. There were some famous twins at sea, You know that there were some, I identical twins at sea. Great Eastern, that Indian company, had few identical twins as cadets. And there was a radio officer, identical twin, both were radio officers. Obviously. Now, this guy, I know the thing. One cadet, he went on other ship to meet his brother because luckily they were kept separated. And then the chief officer thought he is the same guy and he gave him work also. He refused to accept any story from him. Kaam kar pehle. And the radio officer, I know because that radio officer only told me story. He said that my brother came on board, the captain gave him message and then bola ki he sent it. And that guy also sent it because he was also radio officer. And the real radio officer was not on board. But there are few identical twins at sea. Now, of course, people I am talking, I don't know whether they are alive or dead. That I don't know. So, what do we do now? We call it off, correct? Now, what about your tests? Your tests are not coming in. Do your tests. Pritesh, what is it? No, actually, the attendance part, right now we have got a issue because of bandwidth and other, means many times cadets are unable to even contact us. So I don't find, because I get automatically from that who all have been logged in and all. The bad part is sometimes guy is logging in only for 2 minutes. Of course, you want to cheat, you are cheating yourself because you can log in, open other flap and play game. You can do. You open other flap and read something else. So responsibility has to be there. You see, this system, online learning, is not meant for schoolboys. Meant for mature crowd. Mature crowd means you all come in that. You are about to enter there. Okay. So any other doubts are there? No, sir. नहीं आया अभी तक आवाज नहीं आया. No, sir. No, very good. Any more? 2-3 नो तो आना मांगता है. No doubts. एक नो डाउट से कैसे होएगा विद 70+? देख कितना धड़ाधड़ आ गया. No, attendance we get. Anyway, I get it logged in. No? So attendance is there. That's not a problem. I find, the traditional method not really suitable for online unless I see your face. Now, there are tricks of the trade. You all are smart. But cheating doesn't make any sense. Because you are cheating yourself. It means you are paying for it and then you don't want it. It's fine, man. What's the problem? For me, no problem. For you, it's your issue. And you know very well, like I have explained you right from first year. To keep you in this course, your parents need to earn 2,500 rupees a day. Correct? And then they give 700 rupees to our honorable government, 750, the income tax, and remaining money is used for your education. So it is your money, your problem. क्या बराबर बोला? हाँ? Right or wrong? Okay. So I will let you go now. I will end the meeting. Next time I will give you a chance to draw all the pictures. Hi. Japanese style.